So perhaps you're like me, where you have a favorite deck of cards and you enjoy spending time with them each night, or you have clients and you find that the same questions are being asked all the time. I know when I sit with my cards each night, sometimes it's like past, present, future. What will the outcome be? What's my obstacle? Same questions over and over. I tend to get in that rut where you get used to throwing down those cards and the same questions are asked all the time. So there is something new for you, and Bill Reichley created a beautiful product that he's been working on since 2010. He said, I have this idea and it's never been done before, but I have a concept where you can have a deck that creates questions and spreads for you. So when he told me, the first thing I said to him was, don't tell this to anybody. Like, do this and keep it hush, because this is a really fabulous idea that I don't think has ever been done before. Sometimes people will say, I want a general reading, and you're thinking, okay, where do I go with this? So you can give them the card and say, what cards in here would be meaningful to explore about your life? And then you can take it from there. How easy is that? So, and I know for me, it's the same thing when I'm sitting at my own table and I'm thinking I don't know what to ask. I just go through the cards and I find something good, or what I often do is just open it up, close my eyes, reach in, pull one out, and there you go. And here, and then what I found is that questions that I'm asking with this particular deck are not the types of questions that I would ever have thought to do on my own. So I'm going really deep with my cards, and it's taken my readings up a notch. It's taken me to the next level. It's allowed me to associate with new decks that I'm learning about in ways that's really fun and at the same time deep, and I'm learning about myself. It's taken my clients to a new level too, because I'll say, would you like to ask any of these particular questions, or should we randomly pull a card? And we have a lot of fun. The right stuff always comes out, as you know, that tends to be the case with cards. Really deep, wonderful questions, not the typical things you find in spreads. While you may see a little past, present, future type themes, you're going to see stuff that's a lot deeper, and we'll go through that in this video. And I love that it's versatile enough that it can be used with absolutely any type of oracle. You won't be bound to just using one system. So here's another idea you can use. This system, the dynamic spread system, comes in quite a big box, and this is because Bill had to redo the size of the box to make it larger to accommodate the book that comes in with it. The book is quite wide. As you can see, it's not your little white book. You've got a very nice book here, which I'll show you in a little more depth, with some spread ideas, lots more. It describes how to use the cards. There's also a little recipe box that contains the actual cards themselves. And when you take out the fillers, there'll be a lot of extra space here. This is not my idea. I got this idea from Davina Penny, and I have her permission to share this here. I've been doing this ever since. The space that you have left over is perfect for your favorite spread cloth. And if you have a favorite deck or two, those will fit in there as well. So you kind of got your one box carrying case. So instead of throwing this box out, I was able to make use of that space. So thank you, Davina. That was a really fabulous idea, and I will be using that from now on. The book is very nice. You can see it's not a little white book. What you've got here, it talks about what spreadomancy is. That's what Bill calls it, the ability to create spreads from the deck. He has examples of what the cards can be used as, how to sort out the cards, sample readings, and more. He's included many people who have kind of shown the ways that they've suggested using the deck, and there is actually one by me in there. Thank you, Bill, for inviting me to do that. So the book is wonderful, and yet you don't have to do any reading to jump right in and do this particular activity, because it's kind of self-explanatory. It's one of those things like, why didn't anybody think of this before? So when you open it up, you'll see it looks like your typical little recipe box, and it will have a spot where you can put your pen. It's got a little piece of elastic here that you can tuck your pen under, and you'll see it's divided into sections. In addition to that, if you look tucked in here, there are smaller cards, and there are also sticky notes, and those come in handy. I've used actually some of these already because they are such a great idea, and I'll be refilling it with more sticky notes once I use up this supply. So let's take a look at how this is divided up. 6 different sections. You've got a theme, you've got some ways to explore, and you can explore either me, it says explore me, you can explore considerations, you can explore, this is my favorite, group interactions, and you can explore just actions. At the end, there are conclusions, so this is kind of like a great way to expand on the outcome card. So each of these comes with many, and you can take each of these sections out and take a good look at them. In addition to those, you've got these smaller size cards. So where these are more standard size cards, you've got these smaller size ones that talks about time frames. And again, this is really nice where you can put these out in front of your clients. There are also, so you can choose the number of days. You can use your sticky notes to actually put the number on there if you want. Months, this week, this year, so you can divide it how you want. You can also look at choice A and choice B if you just want to put down those two cards. So you'll notice that these 4 Explore cards are in green. They are also marked in green on the other side. So if you happen to mix up, say these over here that are the theme cards with them, you'll be able to separate them by color. Same with the conclusion. Keeps them nice and tidy. The types of themes that you can read in your actual readings, and here are some of the ideas. So if you just have a relationship but it's non-romantic, my connection with, and you can put your sticky note there about a group, a situation. These are all things that you'll be asking your readings about. Area in life in need of attention. What about my body? Do you ever ask cards about your work and career? You'll notice all the things people ask about are here, and then so you have all the cards here to kind of give you the actual theme that will describe the theme with that card. Then as you go exploring, if you want to look at yourself, explore yourself, you'll see such things as you can put down 1 card under each of these. If you're doing Lenormand, you can put a pair of cards under each one for a combined meaning, or even 3 cards under each. What you're attracting, what you're repelling, talents and gifts that you're aware of and unaware of. This is fantastic. Why am I resisting blank? Because by resisting, I'm losing or gaining this, and you can choose which you want to be losing or gaining. I've used this one. It's wonderful. Let go of my perception, the reality, things you might not consider asking in your reading. So you can see all these wonderful things are things that you may not consider asking in your personal readings. Really deep. Considerations, hidden obstacles. How will I get opportunities out of this difficult situation? Isn't this wonderful? Who or what is making this more difficult than it should be? Really, you'll see these are wonderful questions that you're not going to really find in your typical spreads. You will still have your typical things in here, so those are not left out. But you can see that this goes really quite deep. Why does this make me angry? I've done that one. It's wonderful. A pleasant surprise. All right, so all these really fantastic things are considerations that you might not realize. Group interactions is another little section. How I impact the self-esteem of something else. Why do I always try to please blank? As you're getting into how you're engaging in groups. This could bring us together. Do you see how meaningful this would be? Even not for large groups, but between just 2 people. So you can see these sorts of things are really, really fantastic. And I've had such deep explorations about myself with these particular cards. Next, actions, things you can do. These are your advice and action plans. Do this quickly, do this part slowly. My favorite cards, actually. First priority, second priority. It's kind of your to-do list. Don't do this and do that. Okay, so really wonderful cards. And the conclusion set. How do I make it happen? The likely outcome in the material world. How will I feel about it? Because they're not always the same. Best outcome for everyone involved. How would blank advise me? If someone were to advise you, what would they say? Wonderful ideas to ask about. Let's put this deck to work. Is that you don't have to use it with just tarot. This is something you can use with your angel cards. You can use it with your Lenormand decks. You can use it with runes. You can use it with any oracle you may have. It's really amazing. I've used it by mixing oracles. I found some really deep stuff, and I want to show you the kinds of questions this So I'm going to start with the Anna K Tarot just to see what we might get for some of these positions. I'm just going to spread it all out and we'll take a good look. I'm just going to randomly pull one. The source of my anxiety, the 3 of Swords, and I see this is a different 3 of Swords where someone is actually taking away from somebody else or someone's being hurt. So the source of anxiety has to relate with someone being hurt or you hurting someone else. Are you receiving that or are you giving it? So let's see what to do about that. So what to do, we have the Lover's card, and this is really talking about a relationship, making a choice and to go toward a relationship. Make sure you're going toward the right one. What shouldn't you do? Let's see. perhaps overpower someone or try and be the boss. If you're not sure, you can draw another card, and this kind of agrees. We have the Five of Swords. They are arm wrestling, and so one is trying to overpower the other, so that kind of confirms what we saw in the Strength card. So what we're not asked to do here is, if you're anxious about the situation, don't try and overpower the person. Instead, just have a gentle energy of love. Another way we could do this is take the same cards here from the deck, and I'm going to use a wonderful deck called the Burning Serpent Oracle. This is by Robert Place and Rachel Pollack. So I'm just going to briefly shuffle, spread them out, randomly pull. Now, because this is Lenormand and it talks in combinations, I'm going to pull two cards for the source of my anxiety. So we've got Scythe and Fox. Oh, interesting. It's kind of the same as what we got from the Anna Kay. So danger from a manipulator or a liar or troublemaker or something undercover or something being cut away. Same thing here, something being taken away, like we said, by someone that's trouble, manipulator. What should we do? So I'm going to pull, because there's two positions here, I'm going to pull two for do and two for don't do. So to do, the dead tree is the coffin, and this is the flaming tree. So that's funny because these are both the tree cards, but this one represents a dying tree and this is a living card. So do is take something that's dead and try and let it blossom. To try and take something that has ended and let it grow. It's almost like replanting, so allow something to replant. Don't do. We've got the clouds, and we've got the woman. And we've got the dark sides of clouds facing the woman. So this suggests don't try and make things cloudy, uncomfortable. Don't try and mess things up. Don't try to mess with people's head. One of the worst cards in the deck. It's kind of muddly. So you don't want to do that. So you want to take something and just make something better out of it. So you can see how all these cards come to a really wonderful conclusion. For something totally different, I'm going to use Caravan of Seekers. So let's take the source of my anxiety for this deck is, landed this way, communication. Three of Clubs. So something about communicating with someone is the anxiety. And what to do? It says to be passionate. You have the Queen of Hearts here. Be very passionate and very, very loving with what you do. What not to do? Opposition. Do you see how they're all, the oracles are kind of saying the same thing? Deck for the Seeker's Caravan, fortune-telling playing cards, runes, the source of my anxiety, need, what you need to make something happen, a need, something is needed, so the need for something. This is our communication rune, so do communicate. And what not to do, protection. You don't want to have to try and protect yourself. So allow a little vulnerability. So same sort of things, and those are just randomly pulled out of my rune bag. And if you want to try something like angel cards or other oracles, this is a Hay House deck. Wisdom for healing cards. So if I just randomly lay these out as well, I'm just going to kind of pull one out here. So the source of my anxiety. Examine your personal interactions. We get the same message here for this one. Isn't that interesting? To do, let's see, do, forgive yourself. That's beautiful. And what not to do, let's pull one out in between here. Do not try and become better than someone. You don't have to become better. So you can see all the wonderful messages that come through. No matter which oracle we use, the message is loud and clear, and we just examine something that, and I know I just examined something myself that gives me direction on something to do with someone. So that's just one small spread idea, those three cards of how you can explore yourself. So have a lot of fun with this deck. You'll see it's very creative. It's going to take you to your next level in your readings. And I'm going to say something that I probably shouldn't hear is Bill found that making a deck as a self-published deck costs more than he had anticipated. He wants people to enjoy this so much that rather than even breaking even on the system, he is marking them down $20 or $30 less than actually he paid for it. So every time you purchase one of his decks at a reasonable cost, he's actually putting some in the pot for you so that you can enjoy this as well. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. I know Bill is one of the most dynamic and creative people in our community, and he's come up with some really good ideas. This is just one of them. He also tinkers with electronics and does some amazing things there, and I'm sure you're going to see a lot more from him. So thank you, Bill, for this. This has really helped me kind of work around my life and make myself hopefully come to a better place, because you've given me the ideas and taken me out of my rut. So lots of fun. Have fun with this.